Hello everybody, my name's Blue, and today we're celebrating the Grassland Animal Pack with a speed build for the Striped Hyena specifically. And the build is, well, it's a modern build using some sandstone pieces to give it this, like, I suppose, arid feeling, but it's a modern take on the sandstone pieces. And yeah, and there was a lot of controversy around the Striped Hyena, and I just want to say I think the model looks absolutely stunning. The head could be argued about that it doesn't look completely accurate, but in my opinion, it looks fine. It looks completely fine, and the like mane it has on its back, the stripes, the textures, it's really well done. Frontier just improves with every single pack it releases. It's crazy. And well, Striped Hyena isn't my favorite animal in the pack, but I thought, I'll build an enclosure for the Striped Hyena. It was something different, and it was just the first thing that came up in my mind, to be honest. If I would give a favorite animal, it would probably be the wallaby or the emu. I'm just a fan of the Australian wildlife. The wallaby is really unique. It's basically a smaller kangaroo, really, but it's still so different. It's like the model's different. The animations are different. I'm not sure if it has like the marsupial birth animation, like what the other marsupials have, but I assume it does, right? And I'm also a big fan of the emu because, people really wanted the emu, and it was a bit controversial back then with the Australia pack that it didn't have any emus. But well, now we have the emu, so that's great. But actually, the butterflies are probably my top favorite because, it's so cool. It's different. A walkthrough habitat, multi-species walkthrough habitat, and the butterflies are awesome. It really looks good in game. But what I'm doing here is this is the main like viewing area of the hyena exhibit. It's not gonna have a great view. It's not gonna be the best view you'll have of the exhibit, but it's like it's like the middle building, I suppose. It's the central building. It's not the biggest building either. It's like an in-betweeny bit, I suppose. It's just gonna have a simple flat modern roof, and oh yeah, sandstone walls and some circular structures on the side to give it more of a modern feeling, I suppose. This is all inspired from I can't really remember. It's from a building. Like I don't even think it's a real building. It's like a concept art for a building. But I thought, wow, if I can pull this off in the game, it would look really cool for like a little viewing area, and I think it worked out really well. I'm also adding these wood, like circular structures to give it more of a shape, I suppose. A bit more interesting. This was really annoying to do. Getting the right size and centering it for all the different circular walls there. The big one was fine, but the two small ones were a bit finicky. But I managed eventually. And I don't think, well, you have the new signs, right? Besides that, there aren't really new pieces. It's an animal pack, so that's the only downside, really. I'm not the biggest fan of animal packs just because of the lack of building pieces. You get more animals, but I'd rather have more building pieces than more animals. But at least the good thing about animal packs is that I get to build the enclosure before the pack is released, because there's no new pieces anyway, so there's nothing you're really missing out on if you build it on advance, right? And then afterwards you can just plop down the new plants, because there's some new grass pieces though, and the grass pieces look really good, the new grass species that they've added. And then just plop down the striped hyena and the exhibit's done, right? And as you can see, I've finally managed to put the circular structures down. Now I'm trying to fit in the roof as well, and I actually end up changing that bit I end up just making it straight instead of curved, the plaster roof on top. You'll see that in a minute. And adjusting the roof pieces there, making sure it all fits in nicely. Okay, I think next... Oh no, we're still working on this. But I was thinking of doing the trim all around. I'm not sure if I ended up keeping it. I don't think so. Or maybe I have, not sure. But then next to this like little viewing area is a really big glass building, you'll see, and that was a pain in the ass. But first I'm building a little fence for some extra detail. My original idea was to actually make it so you could go on top of the building as well and have like a top-down view on the exhibit, but I ended up not doing it. But I kept the fence there because it looked good, and maybe I'll add a walk, like a walkway on top eventually. But if I ever maybe continue on this particular file, maybe I could add some more grassland animals. Maybe it could become a grassland zoo, who knows. But for now it's just a single build. And yeah, so this is the big glass building that will be appearing, and the actual building is it's a square, so it's not that difficult, but getting the glass in and have it look good, that's difficult, because like the problem with the glass pieces is that if they collide, it kind of causes like different texture because it's two glass pieces on top of each other, and it starts to look really chaotic. And I didn't really fix it, but I've made it look as good as possible. So I originally used these just plain glass panels, but you'll see that I end up removing that and using the New World panels, I think, because like they've added the like New World panels. They've added panels for all the different wall pieces, so I've used those. Those are great, by the way. The New World the New World panels, glass panels, that's it, are really good. And yeah, so as you can see, I'm trying to like make it look as good as possible, but yeah, it's awful. It doesn't look good at all. So that's why I just moved over to the roof to just not think about the glass for a little moment. The roof wasn't as tough to do. It's just a straight slanted plaster panel, I suppose. A bit thick as well, giving it a bit more of a structurally sound feeling, I suppose. And then I go back to the glass trying to fix this mess, and then I realize you can use these New World glass panels I was talking about, and even that was a struggle, but eventually I got the drill of it, and I got the drill of it? That's not even a thing. I got the gist of it. And adjusting some beams as well. And then finally finishing off this one side so I can copy it over to the other side. See, here you can see I finally managed to get a good pattern in for the glass any moment. Once I finish off the beams. Here it is. So just copying over the glass. This wasn't it. This was it, I think. This was it. A lot of trial and error. A lot of trial and error. But this is the final design I went with. It's not perfect, but yeah, it looks fine, I suppose. If you don't focus too much on the lines, the intersections of the glass panels, but it looks better than the original glass pieces I was using. I'm adding a little sandstone trim around the edge, all the way around, to make it a bit more structurally sound, I suppose. Or just some more details, really. And then this is the main facade, the main viewing area for the hyenas, I suppose. And this will also be an educational center, because the other theme I really went for in this build was like education, conservation. Striped hyenas aren't critically endangered, they're near threatened, but that doesn't mean they're not threatened. All animals, most animals, have like troubles. They have troubles with human activity, just to simplify it. So, and the striped hyena isn't an exception, so there's definitely a lot learned about conservation and endangered status of hyenas. Striped hyenas in this case. And yeah, that's why I thought some educational theme to it. So this big building will be an education center, just some simple education boards, signs, and like information and stuff like that. But obviously with a grand view of the striped hyenas. The backside is just going to be sandstone, because you don't want too much light in, I suppose. It doesn't have to feel too open. It's nice and open, but has to be some walls, I suppose. And then here, this is more of the modern part. Like, so I've done most of the sandstone bit. That's basically all the sandstone there will be. Now it's mostly plaster, and a lot of plaster. And I found this cool image of this like geometric kind of looking boxes, cubes, and I thought, oh, that would actually look quite good for a build. So I thought I'll implement it here. And basically it's like different, like random shaped, like geometric shapes, I suppose you could say. So yeah, that's basically what this is. There's going to be planters around them and stuff like that. It's going to be a wall that goes all the way across to hide the sandstone as well. Changing the colour to white, I end up making it a bit more grey because I thought it was too bright. And this is a planter, I think. Oh no, this is like a smaller wall, and then there will be a planter around that. So obviously human for scale, very handy. So this is like a shorter, like separator wall kind of thing. And then the planter, all the planters have grass, obviously, you know, Grassland pack. It only makes sense to have grass in the planters. So yeah, mulch obviously, and then some simple grass. This was all built before the Grassland pack, so I haven't used the new grass pieces, but I end up adding the new grasses to the planters. You'll see that at the end of the tour. When I do the tour at the end of the video, or a cinematic shot, whatever, I haven't decided what I'll do yet, but you'll see. So yeah, as I said, I'm continuing the wall so it hides the sandstone building, and then the gates, the entrance to the exhibit will come here, with also just a lot of plaster wall. The rest is basically plaster wall and some natural rocks as well to break it up a bit, and also a viewing area on the side, as you'll see. So just a simple wall there, and then a viewing area next to that, adding some barriers, some mesh, and a glass viewing wall. Yes, a glass viewing wall. And then the path, I used gravel, but I end up covering it with like plaster pieces anyway, so you don't even see the gravel. And then next to the viewing area, there will be a big facade of the faux rocks. Yeah, the faux rocks. Oh yeah, another planter. There's going to be a couple more planters. This is, I think, the only one on the outside, and then there's a couple more on, like the inside, I suppose, if you could call it that. Using the elephant grass as well to make it a bit longer. and then adding sandstone on the inside of the enclosure to like give it like a fake wall kind of look, with then plaster on the outside and the sandstone on the inside. I'll have that at the back of the enclosure as well, so you have like a sandstone backdrop, I suppose. And these are the planters I was talking about, the other planters. Just to break up a bit, make it a bit more colourful, make it a bit more interesting. Trying to get that right size and shape. Basically just circular planters, these. And as I said, all grass. And trying to fit the mulch in without it sticking out as well, that's also a task that has to be done, I suppose. Yeah, so this is the faux rock backdrop. I think it looks good. It looks like a layered kind of rock structure. I also end up adding this rock structure like in the middle of the habitat as well, to break up the habitat, so it's not just one big running area, has more of an interesting shape to it, I suppose. And then behind the faux rocks, I also add a massive plaster wall to make it look more clean, I suppose. And then, as I said, a sandstone backdrop. That took longer than expected, trying to even it all out. And the game has this problem where, even though the wall is obviously in one direction, the actual XYZ axis are like in a different direction, so it's really annoying to move it. But so it basically just takes a bit longer, but it worked eventually. And then a little shelter out of concrete to give it more of a utilitarian look. And I also cover that with the sandstone to give it more of a sandstone look. But the back is all just concrete. Only the front has the sandstone wall. And giving it some more detail as well, using the same plaster pieces I used for the viewing like the window, above the window. Doing the same here for the entranceway. And also, as I've done with all the other buildings, adding that trim, and that trim's actually from the Twilight pack. So yeah, if you want to use them, now you know. It's from the Twilight pack. It's called, I couldn't say. I think it's Mason Work something short trim or medium trim. And adding the same fence I've used for on top of the viewing building, using that same fence for this is just a simple plain thin wall, so it's not all the same. So you have like a plaster wall, a natural like faux rock wall, then a shelter, and then just a thin simple barrier wall, and then adding a roof. This roof is inspired from like one of Rudy Renkamel's videos. I saw him using this kind of architectural beams to make a roof, and he didn't add an actual roof, he just added the beams, but I thought, oh, that actually breaks up the just plain white roof, so I added those beams. And then this is a big plaster wall, I suppose, to enclose the build, to make it more complete, I suppose. And then a little shop. I'm actually adding a chip shop, I think it is, just some chips, some fries for the Americans. Yeah, it looks good in my opinion. It kind of reminds me of one of the buildings from Jurassic World Evolution. It's, I think, from Jurassic World Evolution 1, the restaurant building, perhaps. It kind of reminds me of that. I don't know why, maybe just that little tower bit. Using the same pieces, but like the same kind of design and pieces of like the circular structures I did with the wood, just a complete circle this time, and adding a little tuft. You could call it a tuft from the African theme, the plain African theme default game, and then adding a little opening for the shop. First I decided to have a water shop. I thought, you know, you wanted to have a drink, but I ended up doing Monsieur Frites because it just looks better. Monsieur Frites has like this brown color which just fit more with the rest of the build. So that's the reason I chose that shop specifically. And then here, some more planters. I think these are the last planters. Yeah, I think so. And then a little doorway to enter the education center, as I like to call it. With, oh yeah, some supporting pillars. This, oh yeah, this is just an extra little wall to hide the staff area. Not too special. I think I added a little doorway as well. And then here I do the flooring, as I said, with the plaster pieces, so you don't see the gravel. I think this looks way better. The inside, oh, I didn't know I recorded the inside, but the inside of the education center will have these education boards. That's the simplest way of explaining it. This is also from some inspiration images I've found. It's from a actual education center. I can't quite remember what it's called, but yeah, it's from a education center nonetheless. This was quite annoying. The tall like conservation boards don't really work on the display boards on the projectors. But I found the images in the file, so I rotated them 90 degrees just so you could stick them in, basically. You'll see that at the end of the tour as well. And then here, that same education center had this really cool, like, board. It just said insects with, like, all these butterfly drawings and all these different insect drawings around them. And I thought, oh, I could do the same, but with the word education and have all the different insect signs that we have in the game and just spam them all over the place. And it looks a bit repetitive now, but you'll see at the end it looks good. I was surprised. I didn't think it would work out, but it works out. I end up moving the sign somewhere else though. I kept this sign plain. I didn't really know what to do with this wall, but yeah, I ended up adding it there. It looked better. And then now obviously the most important part, the actual enclosure itself, or the striped hyenas. I thought, well, I was starting to place some rocks. I was just winging it really. Like, I just started to place these rocks and I thought, actually that looks really good. I'm gonna do more of that. And then I just ended up doing it everywhere. And now the whole enclosure is just rocks, but it looks good. It's very rocky. It's a very rocky enclosure. Alright, so here we are. This is the finished result. I'll just do a quick tour. So as you can see, I've added the Grassland pack grass pieces. This is the little guest area. And here we have these education boards finally fixed, so that's good. And then a nice view of the hyenas, and oh, look at that, the hyenas have some babies. How cute. And the hyenas look stunning, I'm telling you, the hyenas look great. Here is another view from this viewing area. So yeah, that's a cool little view over there. And then if you continue over, we also have the side view. And just another view of the building in the back and stuff. So I think it worked out really well. The grass everywhere, obviously gives it the grassland feeling. And also at night, it looks quite good as well. So, as you can see, the grass lights up and stuff, so that's cool. I hope you enjoyed this little tour I did, and obviously the speed build. Maybe I can make this into a series. I could do like the other grassland animals. You can request which other animal you would like to see in this build if you want to even see this zoo continue, or if you just want, you know, the Higashiyama build that I've been doing. You can comment it down below. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.